Welcome to the Line Life podcast. I'm Jeff Postlethwaite with T&D World, and today we're bringing you more stories of the grit, courage, and inspirational teamwork that it takes to be a line worker.
Thank you for tuning in to the T&D World Line Life podcast, produced by Endeavor Business Media, a division of Endeavor B2B. My name is Amy Fishbach, and I'm the field editor for T&D World and also the host of the Line Life podcast. Before I dive into today's episode, I invite you to become part of our Line Life podcast community by searching for the Line Life podcast in your favorite podcasting app or going to linelife.podbean.com and clicking follow in the top right. We air interview-style episodes on the first and third Fridays of each month, and also audio stories in our In Case You Missed It series featuring articles that appeared in our print magazine on the second and fourth Fridays of each month. If you have a comment on this episode or a suggestion for a future guest, please reach out to me. You can email me at amyfishbach@gmail.com or reach out to me on LinkedIn or on Instagram at Lyman World. I'd love to hear from you. Now let's move on to today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Line Life podcast In Case You Missed It series. We're continuing with the third article from the T&D World Lineworker Supplement, published in September of 2025. I've wanted to write this article for a very long time after hearing so many line workers talk about experiencing near misses themselves or losing friends in the line trade. This audio story will be a three-part series, with the first part talking about the 6 strategies that can help line workers in the line trade. Part 2 will feature an interview that I had at the 2025 International Linemen's Expo with Jenny Lavin, who gave a wonderful presentation and passed out coins to everyone in the audience with the one number that they need to know in case they're having suicidal thoughts or they know of someone who is considering taking their own life. And that number is 988. And you can call that number anywhere in the United States to be connected to local resources and your community. The final part of the series will include the several sidebars that were included in this article, which were stats on safety in the line trade, 3 ways to break the silence on mental health struggles, 10 safety culture initiatives to improve mental health and wellness in the aftermath of a tragedy, potential tools and coping strategies, prioritizing self-care in the line trade, 12 tips for line workers, and finally, how to get help. Now let's move on to part 1 of the series, which is the narrated version of my article, which is titled Prioritizing the Mental Health of First Responders. These 6 strategies can help safeguard line workers as they put their lives on the line every day to serve their communities. This article was written and is narrated by me, Amy Fishbach. Line workers restore power to communities, work long hours in extreme conditions during storms, and serve as first responders. They also have one of the most dangerous jobs in America. The fatality rate for electric power line installers and repairers is 23.7 fatalities per 100,000 workers, compared to 9.6 for all construction workers and 3.5 for all occupations, according to recent data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS. As the owner of a California consulting firm, Maximo Fuentes provides training, education, and expert witness services to the electric utility industry. He said he thoroughly enjoys interacting with the young line workers and apprentices and sharing his knowledge and experience. At the same time, he's challenged and frustrated by the litigation and catastrophic injuries he sees working as an expert witness. I am disappointed in the direction that I see some companies going in our trade, said Fuentes, who has 31 years of experience in line work and is the owner of Fuentes Consulting, LLC. There's not enough emphasis on education and training, and there are too many needless accidents. Too many times I have seen accidents and a lack of professionalism in our trade, with the emphasis on making more money at the expense of the workers. Electric fatality rates have remained consistent year after year, and more needs to be done to reduce the number of electrical fatalities in the workplace, according to the Electric Safety Foundation International, or ESFI. To drive down injury and fatality rates, the electric utility industry is investing in personal protective equipment and training its field workforce in safe work procedures and practices. Even so, the line trade loses dozens of line workers each year due to work-related incidents. The following story dives below the surface of safety in the line trade to offer some strategies on how line workers can come home safely to their loved ones each night and handle the stress of working as first responders in their communities. Number 1. Understand the toll of trauma in the line trade. As the electric utility industry continues to grow, evolve, and expand, safety is always top of mind in the line trade. Even so, from the early years of line work to today, the industry has suffered from many accidents and learned lessons from them, said Randy Becks, a journeyman line worker who founded UtiliTrain, a pre-apprentice training program in Maryland. Over the years of hard work and training, I have seen a number of linemen, some close friends, seriously injured from accidents, said Becks, who started out in the line trade in 1977. This drew me deeper into my commitment for safety and safety training. Line workers, whether they have just started in the trade or are nearing retirement, may one day experience a near miss or the loss of a beloved coworker, and the toll can be complete self-destruction, said Ken Lulo, a journeyman line worker and president of Lineworker Solutions. The guilt, the fear, and the pain are crippling, Lulo said. Without proper care and support, it could lead to self-destructive behavior that can ruin their lives and have catastrophic effects on all those around them, peers, family, children, and friends. Don't try to self-cope and hold it all in. Share your struggles and find the support that is needed. A near miss or loss of a coworker can be more difficult than being the victim yourself in some ways, said John Backman, a journeyman line worker with 25 years in the industry. Watching a serious accident is a traumatic experience, especially if the victim is someone you know well, Backman said. The early and unexpected loss of a close person in your life is incredibly difficult to deal with, as you may be left feeling like you never had the chance to tell that person certain things before they were gone. Backman said he has had only one close experience with losing a coworker due to an on-the-job accident. I was an apprentice at the time, and he was a more senior employee with a great reputation and safe work habits, he said. The biggest takeaway for me was seeing the heartfelt reaction from all the employees of the utility and the community we served. Danny Rains, the author of the book Legends of an Old Lineman and owner and senior consultant of Rains Safety Solutions, LLC in Griffin, Georgia, said a near miss can be a learning experience caused by a distraction or loss of focus and may or may not cause severe injury. Oftentimes, a thorough investigation of the near miss will identify the procedures that were not followed, which could have prevented the incident. A fatality, however, is something that will impact not only the fallen line workers and their families, but also everyone on the crew and at the company. A loss of life is a traumatic event with far-reaching, severe outcomes to all employees associated with the event, and is very difficult to get over, Rains said. A thorough root cause analysis investigation must be implemented to prevent anything like that from happening again. Over his 58 years in the industry, Rains has seen utilities and contractors provide additional resources related to mental health, as well as tools and equipment to make the job safer. This prioritizes the importance and increases the awareness of doing the job correctly, said Rains, who provides OSHA-authorized training and skills training covering distribution cover-up, system grounding, and accident prevention and investigation. Number 2, provide support in the aftermath of a tragedy, near miss, or loss. To help the field employees heal from the tragedy of a line worker fatality, utilities can bring in a therapist or a specialist to provide information as to why and how the accident occurred, Rains said. For example, Union Care Solutions, a 501c3 organization, is helping support mental health and peer support across the industry and creating awareness about critical incident response and suicide prevention. In the aftermath of a fatality, the Critical Incident Stress Management, or CISM teams, can provide psychological first aid through debriefings, diffusing sessions, crisis intervention, and crisis management briefing. Critical incident stress management addresses the emotional and mental well-being of workers exposed to traumatic events or stressful situations, said Jenny Lavin, founder of Union Care Solutions. Timely deployment of a CISM team can help mitigate psychological impacts, support workers in coping with stress, and support mental health awareness across crews and companies alike. Advocates like Lavin, along with utilities, unions, and contractors, are making significant strides in improving lives of line workers by prioritizing mental health and wellness, said David Mendonca, the executive director of the Show Up Dad Foundation, an organization started in 2020 that helps young men with their mental health, marital, and parenting issues. This collective effort not only enhances overall safety, but also ensures that line workers return home to their loved ones each night, fostering a healthier and more resilient workforce, said Mendonca, moderator of the Show Up Dad podcast, pastor, father, and journeyman line worker in Elsinore, California. A supportive environment encourages open communication about mental health, reducing stigma and promoting a culture where workers feel comfortable discussing their struggles. Over the years, utility companies have implemented safety culture initiatives which can decrease stress and improve mental health for line workers, Mendonca said. By addressing mental health proactively, line workers are less likely to experience burnout or fatigue, which can impair judgment and increase risk of accidents, he said. Improved mental well-being allows line workers to concentrate better on their tasks, leading to safer work practices and decision-making, he said. Training and support also help workers develop resilience, enabling them to cope with challenges and stressors more effectively. In addition, peer support and community building initiatives enhance teamwork, creating a network of support that can help workers look out for one another and prioritize safety. Number 3, shift the culture to focus on mental health, wellness, and support. Traditionally, the line trade hasn't emphasized emotional health and wellness, but as the stigma of getting help has decreased nationwide, it is no longer uncomfortable to acknowledge struggles or stresses, and that's important to build on, Backman said. Many of us face similar challenges, and it helps to talk to other people who are in the same work and life situation, he said. You may not get solutions or answers, but it is reassuring to know you aren't the only one dealing with stress. Backman says it takes time to truly have a meaningful impact on mental health and wellness. Creating and maintaining a workplace culture of trust, transparency, and support is the most effective method, he said. This can't be done virtually. It takes time, dedication, and financial investment. Oftentimes, short-term goals eclipse the need for this culture development, but if utilities are willing to provide a secure environment, the employees will feel more relaxed and comfortable at work. While technology has led to improved opportunities in many ways, Backman said it's vital to keep in-person training and learning as the core foundation of improvement for electrical workers. We will still work side by side in the field, and our working relationships rely on trust, he said. Lulo, who works as an advocate for frontline workers and leads training and culture building programs that empower utility workers, said in his time in the line trade he hasn't seen the level of care needed to support the mental health and wellness of field employees. While the tools are available and many organizations have good intentions, they haven't asked the right question. What can we do to support you and where you're at? Because of this, our industry continues to decline, Lulo said. No matter how many resources we throw at the problem, it will never solve this issue until we create a psychologically safe workplace and treat people like people. I have sat in many conferences and other discussions where workers are seen and treated like a resource that can just be pulled off from the shelf at the local hardware store, like they are a box of screws, especially when it comes to mutual aid workers following a storm. We must treat our line workers like people, recognize that they have families, real lives, and the same struggles we have, not just as a resource to get the lights on when the storm hits. He said it's human behavior to act according to how you're treated. There isn't a quick fix for this, and no matter how many safety policies we implement, I don't see the accidents decreasing unless we shift the culture, he said. There's more than enough data available supporting the benefits of psychological safety and shifting the culture. Some utilities with courageous leaders are already embracing this, but unfortunately, most others are still relatively unaware or satisfied with the status quo. I wholeheartedly believe this shift will change the industry. It's just going to take some time to catch on. Number 4, emphasize safety, not just productivity, in the field. As the line trade continues to feel the pressure to do more work in less time, safety often takes a back seat in the field. For example, frontline leaders may tell the line workers how to stay safe in extreme heat by following the rules they set. Drink water, take breaks, and set up shade. Yet they did little to enable them to truly adhere to these rules in the actual condition of the field. At the same time, they say safety first, yet they may advise line workers to get the job done as quickly as possible because it's a hard money job. The last thing the crew heard was "Hurry up," Lulo said. This message leaves the crew feeling that the boss really cares about speed, not safety, and human behavior and fear of job security have the crew cutting safety corners to hurry up. The guys are going to get the job done. It's who they are. If an accident happens and the investigation reveals that safety protocols were not followed, Lulo said, human error will be to blame. If it's found that the crew disobeyed safety protocols, we tend to reactively set new safety rules to prevent this mistake, he said. We are only treating symptoms when we do this. What's the real reason the crew felt like they couldn't follow safety protocol? Does the frontline supervisor take responsibility for pressuring them to speed up? By taking a different approach, utilities and their field workforce could get a completely different result. For example, the human error may be due to lack of training, a toxic work environment, or chronic dehydration, which could contribute to cognitive decline with slow reaction time or tunnel vision. Honestly, this happens more than we think, Lulo said. 80% of Americans are already dehydrated, and we create high-stress environments for line workers, where their cortisol levels are extreme highs. They cope by drinking alcohol after work, further dehydrating themselves, and then they're right back out to work again on the same cycle. Because line workers are needed to perform the job, many companies turn a blind eye and don't take accountability for putting line workers in a losing situation. For example, line workers are required to wear arc-rated PPE to protect themselves from arc flash burns. In response, some utilities may purchase the least expensive PPE available to check the box, but this may create additional hazards, he said. Not all PPE is the same, Lulo said. Some is heavy and doesn't breathe or wick away sweat, he said. In high heat, we could be causing our people to overheat or get heat illness. If they remove their PPE, they could get fired. This is a leadership miss, not a field error. If we know the conditions that our people are faced with, ask how we could create better conditions and gave them the why behind the how, we would be empowering them to mitigate their risk and fewer accidents would happen, he said. Number 5, extinguish toxic bravado in the line trade. For decades, line workers, especially those new to the trade, may have been reluctant to speak up in an unsafe work environment. The old way of control and command is broken, Lulo said. This method didn't work and never truly did, and we all know it. We are on a plateau and will dive right off the ledge if we don't recognize this and change our approach. It's a people problem, not a safety problem. To make a difference in improving the safety of line workers, it starts with culture. He encouraged apprentices and journeyman line workers to be human and identify their purpose, the driving force that gets them out of bed every day. Years ago, Lulo asked a first-year apprenticeship class to fill out an anonymous poll, providing 3 to 5 reasons why they chose to be line workers. He told them money couldn't be a reason, as money is a result of the work, and you can make money from 1,000 other occupations. I told them that they are treated poorly their first few years, away from their families, struggling to get by, drug out all over the country, and forced to work obnoxiously long hours in terrible conditions, he said. So I asked them, why on earth would you choose to be a line worker? The results were mind-blowing. There were 3 commonalities: a sense of belonging, especially to the union and the brotherhood and sisterhood of the line trade. A sense of helping others and doing something rewarding by getting the lights back on during a power outage or making sure everyone had electricity to keep their life running, and a physical and mental challenge to overcome the odds and test their limits. Line work is unique in the sense that it feels special to be a line worker, Lulo said. You are tasked with impossible odds to bring power to others, and the group belonging feel is even further connected by the challenges and obstacles you face with your crew. Risk and miserable conditions bond and connect this group even more. He said line workers are often unique individuals who may have been told they weren't good enough for college and to go the trade route, which could cause some subconscious resentment for some. Line work provided us with a home where everyone was the same, he said. Now we have a group mentality of bonded individuals with a desire to help people and prove the world wrong. A band of misfits treated like outlaws who took on the outlaw persona, and line workers loved this label. Management, which historically consisted of former field employees, has now been replaced by career office individuals, creating a knowledge gap from the office to the real conditions in the field, he said. Technology now allows management to micromanage the field, demand more and faster, turning line workers into a resource, he said. Management recognizes production. It's what drives profits. As a result, utilities and contractors often honor the high producers, which has unknowingly caused damaging consequences, he said. Many of these high producers are often the individuals who have an ego, have embraced the outlaw label too much, and aren't true leaders, he said. They are the individuals who may cut corners for speed, take safety risks, and make dangerous decisions to compete for the "I'm the best" title. Organizations promote these people, setting the example to other line workers what they should model to get promoted. This has caused a cancerous culture. He said it's time to stop the toxic bravado and embrace psychological safety and accountability. To truly drive down the number of accidents, injuries, and fatalities in the line trade, it is going to take a culture reset, he said. Reward the individuals who embrace the positive safety cultures and whose mission is building people and not money, he said. Recognize the leaders in this industry who champion safety and do what is right. Make this a standard and the toxic bravado will die out. He likened it to a flower garden. If you don't cultivate it, it'll be overrun with weeds or toxic bravado. But if you nurture your flowers, culture champions, you will wind up with a beautiful flower garden. While you may get a weed here and there, you can just pluck it from your garden before it can spread. It's a complex and challenging issue, and it's a commitment and a journey that must be nurtured, just like a flower garden, he said. Number 6, encourage apprentices and experienced line workers to learn from each other. Culture changes don't happen overnight. On the path to improve mental health and wellness, however, apprentices can find senior employees or even other apprentices who have a reputation for being safe and accident-free, Backman said. Watch how they work and pay attention to the decisions they make, he said. These established habits build the foundation for a long career without accidents. When new apprentices come into the trade, many get caught up in the cycle of a heavy workload and a lot of overtime, Backman said. Instead, they should try to truly embrace work-life balance. There's a great deal of pride in line workers' dedication, but the effect is cumulative, Backman said. You may not feel it yourself, but there are people at home who need you and who rely on you. It's important to give them that time. It's the company's responsibility to adequately staff up for the workload, not the employees. Trying to achieve the perfect balance of life in the field and at home, however, can be nearly impossible for some line workers, especially for those new in the field, Mendonca said. For these individuals, it may be better to try to focus on being present in each environment, dedicate themselves to work when they're on the job, and then fully engage at home when they're there. If you're dealing with personal issues at home, consider asking your foreman if you can share your spouse's or a loved one's phone number with them, Mendonca said. That way, if there's an urgent need to reach you, they can contact your foreman directly, allowing you to avoid constant distractions and worries about what's happening at home. The challenges with mental health imbalance not only apply to apprentices, but also to veteran line workers with decades of experience in the field. For those nearing retirement, they must avoid complacency to maintain safety in the field, he said. Remember that complacency can be dangerous, he said. Shift your perspective to consider what could potentially harm me. For each situation, take the time to identify hazards. By doing this, you'll have a mental plan in place for what could go wrong, which helps you to stay prepared. It's important to share this mindset with the younger generation as well. Always be aware of your surroundings and prioritize safety. Lulo said lineworkers' legacy isn't what's left in the field. It's the generations that they will influence. Give your legacy something to celebrate and be proud of and mentor these next generations, Lulo said. Line Life podcast listeners, make sure you tune in to part 2 featuring Jenny Lavin of Union Care Solutions, and then also part 3, which will include some how-to sidebars from the article that was published in the September 2025 Lineworker Supplement. And again, if you or someone you know in the line trade is struggling, make sure you call 988 and reach out to local resources in your community. Help is available. And to increase the awareness of the importance of mental health in the line trade, please share this episode with your coworkers and team members so that they can take care of not only their customers, but also themselves and their families. Also, to read the full article that was in the 2025 Lineworker Supplement, you can go to our website at tdworld.com. You can also check out past Line Life podcast episodes that I had with John Backman and also David Mendonca, and a future episode that I'll have with Jenny Lavin. Just go to linelife.podbean.com to listen to these episodes and more and become part of our Line Life podcast community. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Line Life podcast produced by Endeavor Business Media, a division of Endeavor B2B. Be sure to subscribe or follow the Line Life podcast in your favorite podcasting app so new episodes will be delivered straight to you. For more insights, you can visit our website at tdworld.com/podcasts or linelife.podbean.com. You can also connect with us by following us on Instagram at Lyman World or on Facebook, LinkedIn, or X. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Line Life podcast.